Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Looking for shows that blow your mind and characters you'll never forget? Well, AMC Plus has the best entertainment from AMC, BBC America, IFC, Sundance, and Shudder. Love a good binge watch? Check out one of AMC's most watched series, the gripping western, Hell on Wheels. Need a new obsession? Don't miss what Entertainment Weekly is calling one of the year's best series, Gangs of London. Plus, watch the hotly anticipated brand new season of A Discovery of Witches and catch up on season 1 right now. All available ad-free and on demand. Sign up at amcplus.com. AMC Plus, only the good stuff.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration Podcast. As always, I'm your host Shravan. We've got Tarun here with us.
Hey everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about a much delayed, and I guess it's not really, I wouldn't say much awaited, because I don't think really anyone was waiting for this by the time it came out, but the New Mutants, which is officially the last film to ever be released in the existing X-Men franchise. So we actually, for the first time for me anyway, I actually bought a movie on YouTube, or rented a movie on YouTube to watch this. Is this the first time you did that?
No, I've done it before.
Which other movies have you rented?
I think I rented Spider-Man Homecoming.
When you were doing the MCU.
Yeah. I don't know if I've rented anything else. It seems like a bit of a waste to rent stuff because you wait a couple of months and it just comes to streaming these days.
Yeah. And when you rent it, you can only watch it once, right? Or within 48
once.
hours, you have to watch it or something. Like
once you
start
it, it's 48 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. But we did it anyway.
Yeah.
There's this guy on...
I was going to say, like the movie, this review's also much delayed.
Yeah.
Because this came out ages ago, didn't it?
Yeah. And, we couldn't watch it when it came out in cinemas here because we were in lockdown.
Really?
Yeah. It came out in August.
Oh, okay.
And then when cinemas did open, I think it was running, but we didn't really go watch it. We watched Tenet instead. I was just going to say, there's like multiple people on YouTube that just rent stuff off YouTube and do videos on them.
Maybe they get a discount.
Maybe, but maybe they do because they're YouTubers. Maybe we should just go on YouTube and then we'd get discounts as well.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll get into it. Bit of background on New Mutants. So it's directed by Josh Boone. And as far as I know, the other prominent movie that he's directed is, what's that movie where the Fault in Our Stars? Yeah.
Right, he directed that.
Yeah.
Okay, This is not like that movie. I didn't know he directed that.
Yeah, because I was thinking of that young adult, because there's multiple movies like that now. I think there's like that 5 Feet Apart and some other movie. Yeah, but The Fault in Our Stars. He directed Fault in Our Stars.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure he did. Yeah, you can check.
Okay, I'll check. Keep going.
And it's produced by a number of people, but one of them is Simon Kinberg, who has produced a number of X-Men films, and I'm pretty sure he directed Dark Phoenix. That was his first movie that he directed. It's written by Josh Boone and his friend Nate Lee. So they actually developed a New Mutants comic earlier on, and then they proposed this project to 20th Century Fox, and then it finally came through. So I'll get into what they had planned and what eventuated with this movie later on.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And he's also directed 4 episodes of the new TV show, The Stand.
Oh, yeah? On Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
That looks all right. So that's probably... Because this movie was made...
And Stuck in Love in 2012. I don't know what that is.
Stuck in Love. Is it another young adult sort of...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like it maybe could be.
So this movie, it's actually got a pretty good cast. It's a very limited cast. There's not many characters that are in this movie, but top billing was Maisie Williams. I guess of Game of Thrones fame. Is she famous for anything else? Not really.
No.
Yeah.
I shook my head no when he said that.
And then there's Anya Taylor-Joy, who's recently become... She was already pretty famous, but I think she's recently become quite famous because
She's
of
doing the Queen's Gambit
Queen's Gambit.
over and over again. You would think they would prepare themselves for the Queen's Gambit because she keeps doing it, but
I haven't seen that show. I heard it's really good.
I've only seen the first episode.
Yeah.
She does the Queen's Gambit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a chess move in case you didn't know.
I know what the show's about, so yeah. And then it's got Charlie Heaton of Stranger Things fame.
Yes.
The rest of the cast is relatively, well, I didn't know them,
Of nothing fame.
yeah. There's Alice Braga, who I think she's the, we'll get into the story, but she's the
Was
doctor.
she in, her name sounds familiar. I don't know if she's in something I know.
And Blue Hunt, who is actually probably the main character in this. So she plays the main character in this.
Yeah.
And then there's...
I haven't seen her in anything before.
Yeah. Apparently she was in the originals.
I've actually seen that show before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And Henry Zaga is another character. He plays another character.
He's in this.
So the names I've read out, they're literally the only people in this movie. There's no one else. That's it. That's really it. There's one other person, but I mean he's in like 2 scenes. Okay, so we'll get into the story. So what was the story of this movie?
Well, there's this girl and she goes to a hospital kind of place, and she's, because her town got taken over by a hurricane, but probably wasn't a hurricane, and she was the only survivor, and she's a mutant.
Yes, she's a new mutant.
She's a new mutant,
Along with the other 4 who are also
yeah, there's
new
like
mutants.
4 other mutants in there, and there's a doctor.
Yeah. And that's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. So going by that premise, I would expect this movie to be pretty low budget. So what do you think the budget was for this movie?
Well, there's probably a few cast members that got paid a lot. There's a bit of reshoots going on.
Yeah.
Maybe 50, 60?
Yeah, you're not too far off. It was a little bit more than that. So it's between 67 and 80 million, which I think is on the higher end for this movie. And box office wise, you can guess what it did.
Oh, not much.
Yeah, so 46 million box office wise. So not much at all. The pandemic obviously didn't help it, but either way, I think it was going to struggle because of all the issues it had. So how many release dates do you think this movie had?
A lot.
I'll tell you when it was initially meant to come out. It was initially meant to come out in April of 2018, and it had 5 release dates. So it got delayed. The initial delay it had was actually to avoid a clash with Deadpool 2. So in 2018, that's why they delayed it. And then they did some reshoots and stuff as well in that time. And then it was meant to come out February 2019. But then it got pushed back again because of reshoots. But then it was meant to come out in August of that year, 2019. And then Disney bought Fox. So then it got pushed back again. And it was meant to come out in 2020, April, exactly 2 years after it was initially meant to come out. And then the pandemic hit and then it got delayed. So it finally came out.
It's been a bit unlucky.
Yeah. It finally came out on the 28th of August of 2020. In a very limited release as well because of the pandemic. All right, so Josh Boone wanted this film to be a trilogy, so he initially pitched it as a trilogy, and the second film was going to be an alien invasion film featuring Warlock, which I'm guessing is Adam Warlock, or is that another Warlock?
I'm guessing it's a different Warlock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they approached Sacha Baron Cohen to play that role.
I'm struggling to find how this movie leads on to an alien invasion movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
I don't see the end point of this leading on to that. There's no, yeah.
And then the third and final installment was to be a supernatural apocalyptic horror movie based on the X-Men comic Inferno. And it was to center around Magic, who's a character in this.
I could see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually they wanted Warlock in this movie. So he was meant to be the villain in this movie. So obviously there's a lot of changes to this film script. And they approached Sacha Baron Cohen to play the role in this movie itself. But what happened was they didn't have the budget to include him.
So instead they got a computer to play his role. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, there's 2 reasons they couldn't. Maybe because he's pretty expensive, I guess. To
yeah,
get.
He would be expensive.
Yeah, and then I think the visuals and stuff that come with that character would have been expensive as well. So they might not have had the budget to do it.
And he's doing other stuff. He's He's Borating. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I'm guessing that takes a lot of his time.
The majority of the film was shot in Medfield State Hospital, which is a real hospital in Massachusetts. And the hospital was first a mental asylum. So it was the state's first mental asylum. And apparently a lot of the cast and crew were quite unsettled at the location by all reports.
Sure.
Yeah. So another movie this movie reminded me of, and I haven't seen this other movie, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar to this, is Glass.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it either, so I can't tell you if it is.
But from the trailers...
the trailer of that movie and this movie are very similar.
Yes.
If that means anything to anyone. Which it probably doesn't.
A couple more bits of trivia. So the film features 4 members of the original New Mutants group. So that's Cannonball, Mirage, Sunspot, and Wolfsbane. The only one that's in this movie that isn't in that original 4 members is Magic. I've got a bit more trivia, but we'll get into it after we talk about our thoughts on the movie. So I'll start. I had pretty low expectations for this, so I knew it wasn't good. Like by the time we watched it, we knew it wasn't meant to be critically acclaimed or anything. All that being said, it was still, I don't think it's bad. It's just boring. There's not much that happens in it, and it's all centered around this one location and these 5 characters. There was scope for them to do something more interesting. I think this movie was meant to be like more of a horror movie than it actually ended up being. There is horror elements in it, but it's not scary. Like, they probably should have gone more on the horror side, but I think they were restricted a bit by the rating, so it had to be PG-13, so they couldn't go too crazy. So I think that held them back a bit with the horror aspect. In terms of positives, I think the cast is really good. I think all the cast is actually quite good. They just don't have much to play with in terms of the script.
Yeah, it's just boring, isn't it? It's nothing much happens in this movie. It's an hour and a half long, but it felt much longer. And I was on my phone for a little bit because I got too bored.
Yeah, I watched it throughout, and like the first half an hour was fine. Like, the setup was fine. I think it could have gone somewhere more interesting, but then it kind of gets bogged down in this one location with just these characters doing the same. And
there's not enough story. There's just not enough story.
I think this could have worked if there was a bit more mystery in it. I felt like it was just too obvious what was happening.
Yeah, they give away the starting at the end, so the ending at the start. So there's literally no mystery.
We don't see enough of the powers. So I think it's trying to combine 2 genres. So it's trying to combine superhero genre and a horror movie genre, and it doesn't really do either one at all. So the superhero stuff, obviously these mutants that have some powers. One of the characters, you're not meant to know exactly what her power is, but the other characters, you're basically told what their powers are, and you don't really see them at all. Like, even at the end, you barely see most of the powers. So I think that's another thing that kind of holds this back. But yeah, I can't recommend this movie because I just don't think it's worth it. Like, if it's just free on streaming and you got nothing else to watch, I guess you can watch it.
It's an okay background movie when you're doing something else.
It's not going to lead on to anything. It's just like an inconsequential film. Like, obviously, they're going to set this up for bigger things coming up, and there's like an organization and a villain mentioned in this that, the villain's not mentioned, but anyone who knows X-Men knows who the villain is and what the corporation is. But
even that doesn't really lead anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really, it sets up for nothing.
Maybe they reshot some stuff because there was meant to be an end credit scene that led on to the alien invasion movie.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, they had to cut all of that stuff out.
It's just a nothing movie.
Yeah.
I would say don't watch it. Who cares? Like, no one's going to remember this movie in like 5 years time. Yeah. So it'll just be swept under the rug. No one knows about it now anyway.
Not really, yeah.
Like the general population, if you say New Mutants, they have no idea what you're talking about.
And I guess it lacked a lot of people don't know it's an X-Men related movie either. Maybe if it had that branding, they might have watched it. Like, I mean, I don't know how they could have done it, like New Mutants and X-Men story or something. But yeah, it wouldn't have helped anyway. I just don't think there was I don't think it's a bad, like, it's not a bad movie. There's definitely good elements to it, but it's just, it's just inconsequential, just forgettable. Overall, it's just boring. I think that's the biggest crime. If it tried to do something out of the box and it was bad, I would have given it more marks than this, because this is just, it just didn't try enough with what it had. So overall, I would give it a cognitive regression.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Where do you think?
It's not that bad though. It's just boring, like you said, just boring. Yeah.
Where do you think it stands in terms of X-Men movies though? Because I think it's still better
it's better than Dark Phoenix and
X-Men Origins.
Yeah, it's better than those. Kind of sits in like that apocalypse kind of region where it's just there. Yeah, it exists.
Apocalypse, I probably don't give it as much credit as this one, because at least this one's a lower budget and they tried to do something a bit different, whereas X-Men, the other big X-Men movies, they obviously had like, unlimited budget, big cast. They could have done, they should have done better with that. We'll jump into spoilers. The movie, like I said, the movie starts with a spoiler pretty much. It tells you what happens because it says, at the end.
Yeah, look, the mystery is well, there's a couple mysteries, I guess, like what is her powers, and
to me that's still not clear what exactly her powers are.
Yeah, I don't think they fully explain that properly as well.
Yeah. So this is, to give you a bit of context, there's the central character in this film, which is, what's her name? I've got her name already, but she's meant to be an indigenous American character. You first meet her in this movie. She's the first character you meet, and
Danny Moonstar. That's right.
That's right. Danny Moonstar. Yeah. They're in like a fire or something, and her father gets supposedly attacked, or he basically dies, and then she wakes up in this asylum, this hospital. What they say this facility is for is basically to get new mutants to control their powers, so that they can then be taken back into the real world where they won't.
No, what they say is to get them in control of their powers so they could go join the X-Men. But I thought the X-Men... No, because she says you can go to the next facility or whatever.
Yeah, but they don't say it's the X-Men.
But they presume it's the X-Men.
Yeah.
All the kids think they're going to the X-Men. But is it the point of going to the X-Men to get control of your powers anyway? Why is there this middle... Like, do these kids not know how it works?
Yeah. Because there's Xavier's school, right? Which is the training for the X-Men.
Yeah.
So they obviously don't know.
Yeah, so these kids think they're getting trained to go become X-Men, but they're actually getting trained to work for Dr. Sinister as like killers.
Mr. Sinister, yeah.
Mr. Sinister, yeah.
And that's part of the Essex Corporation. So that's actually what's happening. And
so that's part of the mystery, I guess. And the other part of the mystery is what her powers are.
Yeah, I guess those are the two sort of things that are happening in this movie.
But from the get-go, both of them are...
Well,
both of them are, yeah.
This place isn't legit because... We've seen so many other X-Men movies with Charles Xavier and the X-Men, and we know that they don't operate like this in this, isolated facility with one doctor for the whole hospital, essentially.
Where's Wolverine?
Yeah. I mean, where's everyone else?
Where's Beast?
Yeah, where's Cyclops and where's Charles? Yeah, so that sort of, you already know that something's not right. I still don't know what her powers are because... The other characters, they start seeing demons and they start having like these visions and nightmares and stuff. And they say it's because of Danny, because her powers are to like make you see your worst nightmares and like make you see them over and over again and stuff. But is that her power? I don't know. Is that actually her power? She doesn't control it, obviously, because it just happens randomly.
I think that's what they say her power is.
But then she has this other power, which you find out at the end with the bear.
So I kind of zoned out at this point. What was that? She controls the bear.
So
the bear's her deepest fear.
Yeah, the bear's... But, okay, the bear's her deepest fear, but when the bear turns up, she's not conscious. She's like...
That's true, yeah. But the bear's her deepest fear, so that's why the bear's there.
Yeah. And it's revealed that the bear basically killed her father as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But when does the bear come out? When she's scared?
I don't know.
Because she's scared multiple times through this movie. And,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not really explained. It's just the bear's there.
Yeah.
They fight the bear at the end. But then she pats the bear and says everything's going to be okay.
And then the bear disappears. Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't fully understand it.
Yeah, we might have to look at what her comic. What's her comic book name?
Danny Moonstar.
Like, that's her name, but what's her like X-Men name? I talked about it earlier. It's not Cannonball because that's Stranger Things dude.
Mm.
It's not Sunspot because that's the guy who
Fire dude.
Yeah, goes on fire. It's not Wolfsbane because that's
Wolf Mama.
Yeah. So it must be Mirage.
I'm not familiar with any of these characters.
I guess there might be listeners that know more about these characters, and whether they actually did justice to these characters. But overall, I just didn't think it went anywhere with the story. Any other spoilers? So I thought the backstories were interesting, I guess, for some of them. I think Magic's
backstory is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slender Man dudes.
And obviously she had a pretty traumatic childhood or something that they allude to. Like, this movie would have been better if it didn't have to be PG-13. I feel like it could have been. It
alludes
better.
to a lot of things, but like you actually don't get to see anything.
It's kind of held back a bit. So I think, Magic's backstory is pretty
You don't actually get anyone's backstory. Like you get snippets of it. Yeah.
Wolf girls.
Wolf's Bane.
Yeah.
Wolf girl. Wolf mama.
Story seems to be pretty interesting.
Arya Stark. Yeah.
And the guy in the mines, something about him killing his father or something.
Yeah. I guess that one's pretty self-explanatory. He probably just cannonballed in the mines and killed everyone.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guy who turns into fire.
Killed his girlfriend, yeah.
Killed his girlfriend. So that's all their backstories.
Yeah.
And they talk about where they're from as well. So the other thing we noticed when we were watching this was each of them have a very distinct accent.
Yeah.
What's her name? Maisie Williams.
Arya Stark.
Yeah, she has like a Scottish... Is that her actual accent?
It
She's
could
British,
be.
right?
I know. She's from somewhere in the UK. Yeah, she could be Scottish. Maybe that's her accent. I can't remember.
And then Anya Taylor-Joy, she has like a Russian accent.
Yeah.
So a bit about her character, actually. So her name's Ilyana Rasputin. So she's, in the comic, she's the sister of Colossus, who's also Russian, I guess. And they could have linked that in this movie because they are the same universe, but we never get that. Who else has an accent? The other guy.
Stranger Things dude has an accent.
He's from Kentucky or something.
Which might be his real accent, maybe. I don't know. None of the accents are bad.
He's British in real life. So
okay. It's not, yeah. None of the accents are like really bad, I guess. Maybe Anya Taylor-Joy's one's a bit over the top. Yeah.
Apparently she's really good at accents.
Okay.
I don't know she doesn't actually know what her actual accent is because she's like Spanish English or something. She does a different accent in every movie because I watched Emma, where she does a British accent. What does she have in Queen's Gambit? Probably American accent.
Yeah, it's American.
Yeah. And then there's some other movie where she has another accent as well. And this one, she has a Russian accent. So apparently she's really good at doing accents. The other guy who probably should have an accent doesn't.
Oh, yeah, Brazilian dude.
Yeah, the Brazilian guy. He sounds just normal.
None of the characters have much to do, really.
There's a bit of... the main development is with Danny, I guess, and...
Wolf girl.
And the wolf girl. So they have a bit of a romance, and it's actually 3 genres. So I feel like it's a horror movie in parts, or tries to be. It's a superhero movie, sort of. And then it's also like a young adult sort of thing as well, because it's got elements of like, what you've seen in like other young adult
Hunger
movies.
Games.
Like, Hunger Games, Twilight, those movies. Yeah, overall
It tries a lot of things, but does it do anything?
But I don't really blame the makers for this. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that wasn't in their control. I think if they actually made the movie they wanted to make, it potentially could have been quite good.
It probably had potential. I'll never watch this again, though.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't pay for it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, just wait for it to come on streaming. So another interesting thing is I thought this would come to Disney+, but apparently HBO Max has the rights for it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I don't know how that works, but apparently it's going to come on to HBO Max.
Yeah, okay.
A bit more trivia. On the spoiler side, the film reuses footage from Logan. I don't know if you noticed that. It's when she starts seeing visions. Remember when she starts seeing...
Yeah, I was zoning out at that point as well. But yeah. I remember that.
The mutant children. So apparently this was...
How did she see that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So
must be
is that
some
part of
other
her
power.
powers as well? Like,
Yeah.
what are her powers? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very ill-defined. She somehow sees visions of a different movie.
Yes. Yeah.
she's jumping through timelines and space.
Yeah. So basically, the footage was directly taken from Logan, so it wasn't like reshot or anything.
Maybe they just had a TV in the background and she was actually watching Logan, but she thought she was getting visions from something else.
Yeah. So apparently this movie was meant to tie into Logan as well, because there's the kids in Logan that were meant to be, they're meant to be part of this whole New Mutants thing. But obviously none of that is going to happen, and none of that did happen. So it's just, you might as well forget about it.
We're going to cut that part out of the podcast because it doesn't matter anymore. We might cut this whole episode because it's just inconsequential.
Yes. So the other thing is they do mention the Essex Corporation, and apparently John Hamm was cast to play Mr. Sinister.
Oh, okay. Also, before when I said that Sacha Baron Cohen was replaced by a computer, like, there's lots of exposition in this movie that's just said by a computer. You just meant to read the computer screen.
So basically they're monitored 24/7 in this facility.
Yeah.
And then this doctor, she gets just
messages
instructions
on the computer.
Yeah, just instructions on a computer from someone.
Probably Mr. Sinister.
Yeah. I don't think he's sitting in front of a computer.
Nah, he's him. He's doing it. That's what they hired John Hamm to sit in front of a computer and type. They actually filmed it. They just couldn't fit it in.
So apparently he did film something.
Oh, I was right then. Yeah.
So,
maybe that post-credit scene.
Yeah, it might have been a post-credit scene. So with filming for the role completed, though his role had reportedly been cut from the film as a result of the extensive reshoot process and changing the elements of the film. So, yeah, he might have been. I've seen X-Men, the 90s cartoon, which features Mr. Sinister quite extensively. And, yeah, he would have been good in the role.
He would have done a job. Whether it's a good job or a bad job, we don't know. Yes. And we'll never know. So we're cutting that part out of this podcast as well.
I mean, what other movies is he good in? He's good in
Mad Men, apparently. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and he's good in
Baby Driver. He's pretty good.
Baby Driver, yeah. He's pretty good in that.
Have I seen him in anything else? Maybe.
He was rumored to be Batman at some stage, right?
Yeah, he's always rumored to be Batman. No, wait till the next Batman. They'll be like, oh, you should get John Hamm.
Until he's like...
even when he's 80, they'll be like, oh, get John Hamm.
Yeah. Bit more trivia. So, Ileana carries a dragon toy. Lockheed,
yeah. It was a toy, but it turned into a real dragon at some point.
At some stage, yeah.
Which I didn't understand as well. Why was it just a real dragon the whole time?
Maybe in her magical world, I don't really know what her powers are either.
Yeah.
She can obviously get teleported into this other
How is
dimension.
her brother like a, what's it called? Like a metal dude and her powers and she's got interdimensional travel?
Yes.
What happened there?
I feel like the X-Men powers, they range from like believable. Like some of them you could see as a mutation to a human. Like some of them are like, that could happen.
Which one?
Like, for example, let's say, what's a believable one?
Yeah, which one could happen? I can't remember anyone that could happen.
Maybe Charles, it's a stretch.
Okay, wait, I got one that could happen. Sabretooth. You just grow your nails really long.
Depends which version. Like the one in Origins is just like a normal dude, right? With
long nails. Yeah. So you just grow your nails long and you're Sabretooth.
Yeah. I like some of them, they're not like beyond the realm of possibility, but some of them are just crazy. Like this one.
Yeah.
And I guess Magneto. I mean, I think there's like a mid-range. There's like okay range. There's mid-range, and then there's just ridiculous.
Ridiculous, yeah.
And this is probably in that ridiculous.
It's ridiculous range, yeah.
And there's like the mid-range, I would say like Magneto, Charles. They're like, that's not crazy. Like it could happen.
I'm trying to think of one that's even more believable, but
and like I guess
the more believable it gets, the less exciting it is, and the less,
Like Wolverine,
it's not believable. You don't have 3 extra bones in your hand.
You could be born with like a deformity in it,
No, it's not. No, what, you have bones that can come out of your body?
The unbelievable part of his powers is probably that he heals like indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most believable one is Sabretooth. You just grow it. I can be Sabretooth.
But he's got the healing thing.
Oh, you take that away,
Yeah.
and then I can be Sabretooth as well. Yeah.
There are some mutants that are like, surely there are some that are not that crazy, right? Gambit?
No, he's got like blasters. In
Yeah.
his, yeah.
I think Charles is actually the most believable one.
Yeah. I think in the Marvel Universe, Iron Man's actually a mutant, and his superpower is he's super smart. I think that's the most
That's his
believable
mutation.
power. Yeah, I think that's the most believable power.
Is that real? Is that just...
No, I'm thinking of Reed Richards, sorry.
yeah.
Yes, Reed Richards' power is that he's super smart.
So then
but
it's-
he's also got the other power.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's got like a double power.
He's got
there.
double power.
Yeah.
But the super smart one is the most realistic part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I guess Dr. Doom he's really smart too then, because he's on the same level as
Yeah.
Richards.
Richards is smarter, but Magic's powers are just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well,
makes no sense.
most
She's
of
got-
them are like
Yeah,
in this movie.
She's got an arm that turns into a sword, and she can do interdimensional travel and has a dragon. Like, none of those things fit together.
Yeah. Like, how do you get that sort of mutation?
Yeah.
Like, how's it even possible? I guess Mystique's, that's pretty unbelievable as well. Like,
No.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of anyone that's super believable. The most believable superhero is Batman.
Yeah, because
Someone could do that.
He's not, well, he's basically just
Yeah.
rich, right?
Yeah.
Like, quoting
and
the
Iron Man, someone could potentially do that.
Iron Man, yeah.
Not to the level he does it, but potentially somewhere close to that.
I think X-Men are more on the unbelievable side. I think the other part of Marvel, like I said, Iron Man, probably, I mean, the super soldier stuff isn't out of the realm of possibility. So like Hulk and Captain America.
What, just roids?
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
And Ant-Man, yeah. I mean,
Nah, that's impossible.
yeah. The thing with Marvel is they do try to back it up. They make it a little bit more believable because they try to back it up with like science and stuff.
But it's fake science.
It's fake science, but
Yeah.
I think that's that's a key difference between DC and Marvel, because DC, they don't really make any attempt to explain stuff. Like Superman's just Superman, Wonder Woman's just Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they explain and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends what version.
I mean, there was a bit of trivia that I got where this is the second movie where Anya Taylor-Joy is locked up in a asylum. The other one being
The Split.
Split. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's in Glass as well, right?
I think she
At
is.
some
Yeah.
point. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that movie, and I heard it's not very good, so maybe I
Yeah.
won't ever watch it.
Maybe it's better than this movie, though.
All right.
I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
There's not much to say about this movie. It's pretty bland.
Yeah.
My recommendation, don't watch it.
If you want to watch a better X-Men movie, watch...
Deadpool. I like Deadpool.
Is that the best Fox Marvel property, in your opinion?
Well, people say X-Men 2 is the best one. Actually, X-Men First Class is pretty good as well.
First Class.
Yeah. But people do say X-Men 2 is the best one. I don't like it that much.
Logan?
Oh, yeah, no. People say Logan's the best one. I like Deadpool better than Logan, though.
I like First Class better than both of them. First
Yeah.
Class is my favorite.
Okay.
Like, overall X-Men.
So,
Maybe.
I guess in conclusion, go watch Dark Phoenix.
Or watch, just don't watch anything.
Yeah.
And you'll still be better off.
Yeah. Just go for a pleasant walk outside.
Yes.
Yeah. Get some exercise.
I guess that's all we had to say about New Mutants. So if people want to get in touch with us, and I mean, if any of you know more about these characters,
Than we do, which we know nothing about them, so you probably definitely do.
yes, yeah. How do people get in touch with us?
So we're on Cognitive Recalibration on all platforms, and Cognitive Recalibration Podcast at gmail.com for email.
If you want to support the podcast, can you? It would be great if you could give us a.
Can you? Please do.
Please. We beg you. No, it's. It would be great if you could give us a positive review on iTunes or Spotify, because that makes us more discoverable on search engines. If you want to further support the podcast, we have Amazon affiliate links in the description of this episode. So I'll put the X-Men movies on Blu-ray if you want to purchase them, and we'll get a bit of a kickback. And also you can support the podcast via Buy Me a Coffee, where you can give us a one-off donation, which we'll use to further develop the podcast. Another episode done. Another superhero movie done. The main reason we want to do this, I mean, we could have completely skipped this, but I'm like, ever since we've started this podcast, we've actually covered basically every superhero movie that's come out since 2018. So I wanted to keep the track record going.
It wasn't worth it.
Was it?
No.
Yeah.
$6 and more importantly, 1.5 hours.
Yes. Yeah. There's been worse movies than this, but if we had the choice again, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Go
definitely.
back and watch it. Yeah. All right. Thanks again for listening, and hope you're all staying safe, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Looking for shows that blow your mind and characters you'll never forget? Well, AMC Plus has the best entertainment from AMC, BBC America, IFC, Sundance, and Shudder. Love a good binge watch? Check out one of AMC's most watched series, the gripping Western, Hell on Wheels. Need a new obsession? Don't miss what Entertainment Weekly is calling one of the year's best series, Gangs of London. Plus, watch the hotly anticipated brand new season of A Discovery of Witches and catch up on season 1 right now. All available ad-free and on demand. Sign up at amcplus.com. AMC Plus, only the good stuff.